Welcome to the Clear to Send podcast, a podcast about wireless engineering, where we educate you on Wi-Fi technology, talk about design tips, troubleshooting, interviews, and the tools. Here are your hosts, Roel and Francois.
Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of the Clear to Send show. This is Francois here. Roel cannot be with us today. He's busy doing actual work, helping students and staff in his university, so we'll miss him. But I'm not alone today. I have a special guest because we're going to talk about a very special product he created for Windows, and he's from Germany, and his name is Helge. Hey Helge, how are you?
Hi, my name is Helge.
Helge, exactly.
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
So you created this really awesome application called WinFi or WinFi. How do you pronounce it?
Well, WinFi.
WinFi,
yes.
Exactly. WinFi.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much a Wi-Fi scanner for Windows, but it's a pretty advanced Wi-Fi scanner. So we'll get into it. We'll talk about the application. Just before we do, would you mind presenting yourself to the audience? Tell us what you do, who you work for, and how you got introduced to Wi-Fi.
Okay. Yes, my name is Helge Keck. I am from Frankfurt in Germany, and I am a self-employed software developer, mostly on Windows, but I develop also for other platforms. And I'm developing Wi-Fi applications since some time, and it started with Windows Mobile. This is not a normal way to start for Wi-Fi, I know this, but I always wanted to have a decent Wi-Fi scanner for my own platforms. And I always missed some tool like this for Windows, and so I made my own. That's the whole story.
Yeah, I mean, all of us Wi-Fi engineers out there, we know it's really hard to do any sort of good and efficient scanning on Windows, and we're not even talking about packet capture there. But I mean, maybe you can solve this need also. But yeah, it's nice to have a Wi-Fi scanner that's very thorough. If you look at your product, you get a lot of information. It reminds me a little bit of Wi-Fi Explorer on the macOS platform. You get a lot of information out there. So why don't you tell us, why you decided to create the product? Did you just do it for yourself, or did you have any target audience in mind, or did you have a lot of feedback from different users?
The idea at the beginning was doing it for myself, just for fun, but I realized very quickly that there is a market for this, especially on Windows, because if you look at all these free or cheaper products you can have on Windows, they are not quite what the people want, I believe. Of course, you have these commercial products, but they are so expensive, a normal person would never buy this. And I think having a free product or a cheap product which offers a deep amount of information it's nice to have on Windows. And I believe there's no reason why any Wi-Fi engineer couldn't use Windows. There's no technical reason, and so that's why I made this application.
So who would be your competition? Like if you look at the other software out there, like maybe MetaGeek Insider, products like that?
Well, I don't think that is competition. I think we can coexist very easily. Every application has its benefits, its good parts, its bad parts, and I think there's a lot of space for much more applications on Windows. I believe. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Go on. Sorry.
I know. I was going to say. So, who do you see as your users? Like, what would be a typical user of this application? Do you think it's going to be the Wi-Fi engineers, or do you think it's going to be like IT technicians, or like IT general person in general, or what do you think?
I see this tool as a tool for quick troubleshooting. That's not so professional like this big product, but I can imagine that a lot of Wi-Fi engineers are using it, also normal IT people or interested people who are interested in this technology, who want to learn a little bit about Wi-Fi technology and all this stuff.
Okay, so you've been working on the application for a long time. For people who follow you on Twitter, we could see once in a while you would just share a couple of screenshots and talk back and forth with people. And recently, maybe a month ago, correct me if I'm wrong, but you released the first version of it, which is the light version, which is the free version, right?
Yes, I released the public beta version. I think it was about a month ago. Today, I released the final version 1, some hours ago, just.
Yeah. So it's hot.
Yeah, that's very hot. And I started, I think, in March, I believe. I'm not sure. But I make also a 3 months break or something because I have a normal job as well. But yeah, that's it.
So you started in March of this year, 2019?
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Okay. So that's pretty good. Okay. And so you released the light version of the application. So what comes with the light version? And I'm guessing you will release a pro version at one point or advanced. I don't know how you want to call it.
Yeah, I don't know yet how I want to call it, but probably pro or ultimate or whatever. I don't know yet. But there will definitely a paid version, an expensive version, maybe different license models. I'm not 100% sure yet because there are a lot of features I want to realize and implement. But at first, for the moment, I need the light version because I need a lot of feedback from the people, I need to see how it works, how it handles, what the people say. Before I don't have all this information, I cannot start a pro version. It's not possible.
Okay, so let's talk about the light version. So what's included? Like when you install the program and you open it for the first time, like what do you see and how do you analyze the data you see?
So if you start the application, you'll see the same kind of data you have on all other Wi-Fi analyzers as well, like a list of access points around you. But with WinFi, you see much more information. You can see basically everything you can find in the beacon frames. You can organize it in a big table. You can drag and drop the columns. You can filter it. You can group it by whatever you want in a very nice and easy way. And yeah, that's the analyzer part. There's nothing to say about it. Then what you have.
It's really like the amount of information you get is really extensive. You have, you get the name, you get the BSSID, you get the vendor name, you get the RSSI levels, you get the min rate, max rate, SNR, beacon interval, you get everything. You even have a column for the amendments, so you're able to save, this AP supporting KVR. And a couple of other amendments. You're getting like country code. I must say it's quite impressive the amount of information that you're displaying and you're getting. It's very thorough. So you said that you're getting the information from the beacon frame. So from the application standpoint, can you use this application without an external adapter, with just the internal NIC? And how does that work with Windows? Do you just rely on what Windows is giving you?
It works with every adapter, with every Wi-Fi adapter, which works in Windows. So you don't have any special needs. You just need Windows 10 with Wi-Fi. That's it. That's everything. Okay.
And then you ask Windows to give you the beacon, or is it just the beacon information elements? How does that work?
Well, I'm using the Windows Wi-Fi API. It doesn't give me the beacon itself. It gives me a list of the elements, which you can recreate the beacon out of it. So this is not the problem. So you could say I get the beacons from Windows Wi-Fi API without any monitor mode or something like that. So that's why every Wi-Fi adapter will work with this application.
So you as a developer, when you use the application or when you use the Windows API the first time and you saw the list of elements, the API was sending you, the list of Wi-Fi elements, did you just Like, were you like, what is this? Like, what is all of these acronyms? Like, did you have to do a lot of studying to understand all these different elements? Like, did you read the standards? Like, how did you go about analyzing everything?
That was the most complicated part for me. Developing the application is quite easy. That's not a big deal. Also, decoding the elements is not difficult, but understanding them and putting everything in the right context is quite difficult for me. It was difficult for me because I'm not a Wi-Fi engineer. I don't work in this industry really. And I read every standard document I could get. Yes, I learned a lot this year. Also, I had a lot of help from some very nice people who are wireless engineers. I worked together with them. They helped me a lot, and we all learned something, I believe, out of this. It was really difficult to learn this.
Yeah, it's not that easy, right? So you said you read the standards, the IEEE 802.11 standard?
Yes, everything I could find. Well, I didn't read every single word. I read what I needed to create this application.
Yeah.
But it was a lot.
So you had to decode a lot of acronyms and stuff like that.
Yes.
So do you love or do you hate Wi-Fi? I guess now it's a perfect question.
Well, I use Wi-Fi. I need Wi-Fi. I wouldn't say I love it like some of you guys maybe, but I'm very interested in this technology. And right now at this moment, it makes a lot of fun to create this product for this industry. And so many people are so thankful for this because I'm giving it away for free. And I get every day a lot of messages and emails, and it's really motivating, you know.
Yeah. Did you get a good response from the people in general, from the industry?
A lot, yes, a lot. Not only on Twitter, emails, on Slack, and on different other channels as well.
And you also created a forum, right, for the users?
Yeah, but that's just for bug tracking and all this stuff. And I'm very happy that it's very quiet in this forum because it means it works, you know.
Yeah. So how many, like, in terms of numbers, like how many downloads can you see? First of all, can you see the number of downloads you get on the Microsoft Store?
I can see this. Yes, I can see this.
So how many downloads did you get, like, since you launched it a month ago?
I can check it right now. Give me 1 second. I don't know the correct numbers.
Look at that live.
Yeah, I checked it after the first 2 days or something, but
live statistics.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's pretty quick. Okay, here we are. I have to.
Were you expecting the numbers, or were you happily surprised?
Yes, I wasn't surprised because I made a lot of applications for different platforms on the stores, and I know more or less how this works. And I know if, for example, Daniel Rubino from Windows Central is retweeting my tweet, I know exactly that I have minimum 10 or 20,000 downloads a day, just because the people see something he's retweeting and they downloading.
Wow.
You know. You have to see this like this. Maybe 95% of the downloads you can forget because these are just people who want to try something out and who probably have no idea what this even is, you know.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So I have now the numbers, and it's 56,000 downloads on the store and 10,000 on my webpage. So
okay, so 66,000 downloads in 1 month.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. To me.
That's not bad for a Wi-Fi analyzer. That's not bad. Yes, that's very nice.
Okay, that's really, really nice. Okay, so hopefully so your goal is to get some feedback from these early users, so you can maybe improve the current solution and then work on the pro version.
Yes, that's the goal. That's my plan for the moment.
Okay, so. Like if we talk about we cannot talk about all the features that the application offers, because you tried to give me a 5-minute presentation of the product, and I was like, whoa! Like it's a lot of things are happening on top of all the data that you collect from the Wi-Fi API. you also did a lot of work in the UI itself, like the way you organize the things, the way you filter, the way you can create profiles. It reminded me a little bit of Wireshark, where you can create your profile and you keep track of your columns on your filters and things like that. So you can actually do that as well in your application. You can group different elements together. So it really seems like you put a lot of effort in the UI as well, right?
Yes, it looks like, but to be honest, over the last years, I made so many applications and I'm just reusing stuff I already made before. So that's like a big kit I can use to like click and collect a new application,
Wow. Okay. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And so one thing I wanted to ask you, because I'm not a Windows user on a regular basis, and I don't have a Windows 10 laptop. That's why I couldn't even try your application. So what do you do for people who have like Windows 8 or Windows 7 and still want to use WinFi? How do you go about that? Like, is it even possible, or can we download an exe file?
There is an offline exe installer. But it's not done for Windows 7 or Windows 8 users. It's there because some people in the enterprise segment don't have access to the Microsoft Store for policy reasons. It's just blocked, and that's the only reason why I have an offline exe installer. But I do not support Windows 7 or Windows 8. I believe it runs on Windows 8. I never tried it, but some people told me it works. But I do not officially support it. If someone asks me about Windows 7, I tell him update because it's end of life. It's a dead OS. There's no reason to use Windows 7, in my opinion.
Okay. So there's no limitation in terms of API and stuff like that?
Not in the Windows API. The Windows Wi-Fi API it's the same on all different platforms. It's a Win32 API. That's a compatibility. Oh my God, I hate this word. It's a layer. Yes, it's a layer to make everything compatible between the different versions of, or iterations of Windows. But the problem, it's not the problem. I use this modern UI technology, and I want to distribute it over the Microsoft Store, and I cannot create 3 or 4 or 5 different exe versions just for the different platforms that exist. This is too much. And I believe most people are already on Windows 10.
Okay. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So if we try to talk about the different challenges of creating this application. So, for you, I'm guessing it was more, understanding how Wi-Fi works and the beacon, what the beacon frame is and what all those information elements are. Did you hit any hurdles in terms of the application itself, like more the Windows development itself, or did you have that covered working on your previous projects?
Well, there was actually one thing which I couldn't solve, and it was the data grid, the table where I present this data. Before, in the very first versions, in the alpha versions, I used the WPF data grid from Windows. It's built into my system, but it turns out that this wasn't really powerful. So I had to buy a third-party control, which allows me to do stuff like real-time updates and handling lists with millions of entries if you want. So that was the only big problem I had for the application, but I solved it by spending some money, or rather spend some time.
Well, it's either spending time or spending money, right?
Yeah, well.
All right. And then one question that I have, and when you see the application and all the features that you support, how did you choose which feature to include in the application? Did you just try to copy something that existed and try to improve it, or did you just start it from a blank page and then took input and feedbacks from Wi-Fi engineers?
Well, if you develop a Wi-Fi analyzer, you normally know what the people expect. So you don't have a lot of ways to realize something. Say, so people want to have a list. They want to see the spectrum, some signal history graphs, and all this stuff. But yes, I work together with about 10 people, all Wi-Fi engineers, known Wi-Fi engineers. And I got a lot of feedback from them. I believe maybe 50% of the application is not from me. The ideas are coming all from these Wi-Fi engineers. The profile feature you just mentioned earlier is from Wi-Fi Nigel Bowden. For example, he was one of my top coworkers. He really gave me a lot of feedback almost every day about in the last 6 months or something like that. It was really
Nigel is awesome.
Yeah. He has a lot of knowledge. He knows how to get information, how we should display it, how the workflow should be. And I, for myself, I couldn't have do it without these people. It was never this product if I wouldn't have this help from these nice guys, really. Thanks, by the way.
Yeah. Usually the Wi-Fi community is pretty helpful.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So you use that support, and then you just use the idea that you had of a perfect Wi-Fi scanner, and then you just merge everything.
Well, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but for me it was clear that if I want to reach a wide user base, I have to deliver more than the other free Wi-Fi analyzers of Windows. That was one goal. Deliver more and deliver it fast. I believe I did this. I developed it really fast, and it should be beautiful, and I think it's beautiful. And I think
you can do so you have the feature on the UI where you can change the colors.
Yes, so you can basically change everything you want. So you can change the order of the columns. So with the grouping, the sorting, the colors of the little progress bars in it. You have seen it. I couldn't show everything in this 5-minute demo, but you can really do whatever you want on this UI. So you have a lot of different options to make it for you, to make it fit for you.
And you have this advanced feature table, I guess, where you can actually get the information from the information element itself. So what's nice for us Wi-Fi engineers is that it pretty much you can just get the information right away instead of having to open Wireshark and do a packet capture and look at the beacon frames. You can just pretty much get all the information right there without opening Wireshark. One thing I want to ask you, do you get the radio tab header?
No, not in the light version, because the radio tab header is nothing the Windows API exposes to the developers. That's not available for user mode applications. To get the radio tab header, you need a NIC in monitor mode, and you have to packet captures. That's the only way on Windows.
So for the Pro version, I'm guessing you will allow external adapters so we can turn them in monitor mode and you can gather this type of informations?
Yes, definitely. This is one of the top features I'm working on, but it's also the most complicated one to realize.
Yes.
Because if you want to have a built-in solution, I have to do everything by my own. I was testing NPCap, but this is no good solution in my opinion.
It's old, right?
Yeah, well, it works. It kind of works, but if you want to implement it in your own application, it's not very nice, I believe. I believe Wireshark is doing it, and it works somehow. But I want to have a own built-in application, built-in my application, and I want to learn it, It's also one of the reasons.
So if you start capturing packets, you could just that just opens up a whole bunch of opportunities for you.
Yes, of course. If this works, what I have in mind, you can even connect multiple adapters and packet at the same time on different channels.
Yeah, and you could also pick up instead of focusing only on the beacon frames, you could also look at the clients.
Basically everything you can capture, I can display later in the application. You can do a lot of stuff. This is like a giant data lake, which nearly no one really touched. Maybe we touched just the surface. You can do so many nice stuff. For example, imagine if we have 10,000 WinFi Pro users and say having, for example, our own cloud storage where they can store, say, their scan sessions. And if I, as the owner of this cloud, have all this data from these people, what do you believe I could do with some AI stuff just on these packets? That's amazing if you think about it. I'm not saying that I'm doing it because it would somehow conflict with my job, but it's amazing what you can do today. And I think that's awesome. Also the direction where the industry is going at this moment.
Yes, definitely. So if you start doing capturing some packets, that's going to be very interesting, especially on Windows. Like, it's always been, very hard to. I mean, you talk to Nigel. He has this solution where he used the WLAN PI, and he has a script that just leverage the WLAN PI to capture the Wi-Fi packets. But if you can integrate that in your software, and then you could just save the PCAP, that would just a lot of people would be happy.
I believe so, and that's also the reason why I'm doing it. I see a big opportunity for me also, because I'm not doing this for free everything, I mean, I give away now this free version, but I also want to make some money with this. And I believe, especially on Windows, there's a big market for this kind of tool.
Because, I mean, the alternative is Wireshark, but it doesn't work every time. And then the other alternative would be like OmniPeak, right? But it's it's in the thousands of euros.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how much it costs, but I guess that's really expensive. But I think it's worth it.
You could offer a solution that would be in between.
Yeah, that's my long-term goal.
Okay.
To have one day something like this.
So how do you is this like your side jobs, or because you have a main job, how do you find time to work on this project? How do you work part-time for your main job, or how does that work?
No, I started this application in my free time, always on the weekends, but I have a job where I have to work every day. I work for Nyanza. Most of you people know this for sure, know this company, and I have to work every day. But I have an awesome boss. He gave me a 2 months break for me to work on WinFi. Imagine this. Yeah. And
the boss is good.
Yeah, my boss is really awesome. And I use this time really and work every day. I don't know. I can't remember that I left my house in this time. And it was really helpful. If I wouldn't have this time, this 2 months, I wouldn't be here now, for sure.
Okay. Wow. That's very impressive. So are you ever thinking of having someone with you helping you out, especially for the pro version, or is it just something you want to do on your own, try to see how it goes first?
I am not 100% sure about this, because that's, if you start something like a real business, that's something I'm not sure if I want this. I guess at one point I have to do it maybe, but right now at this moment, I just use this to learn a lot about Wi-Fi technology and also about coding, how to realize this stuff. And
so do you have, I was going to ask you about business, because obviously if you want to market the product, you need to know, how that works, how to position yourself and the product and different licenses and all of that. For the previous applications you've published on the store, are they all free applications, or do you market some of them? How did you decide the price of an application?
That's pretty easy. You are just checking the market. You make some research, what is available on the market, how much does it cost, what does it offer. And if you all know this stuff, you can pretty easily decide what you are going to charge for one version, for example. But a good way, which worked really well for me in the past, is offering a really, really good free version. And after this free version works good, you just offer in-app payments. So imagine now, I have 50 or 60,000 WinFi users, and I publish an update, and in this update, directly from the application, you can buy different new features. So they do not have to find your website, they don't have to go to the store, I don't have to pay the store fees, the 30%. And this is you get on one day, if you publish one update, 60 or 70,000 potential new buyers,
Okay. So it's like a freemium model, right?
Yes, exactly. It's like free to play, like on the computer games. Yes, exactly.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so is it what you're thinking of doing with WinFi as well?
Probably yes, because it worked in the past for all of my applications, and that's just a very nice model. And this is something you can do alone. You don't need a marketing team or people who are working for you and all this stuff, you know.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty interesting. So going back to Wi-Fi and then, you know, all the learning you had to do for this application, I'm thinking about AX, right? Does your application supports AX right now?
Yes.
Can you detect Wi-Fi 6 APs and stuff like that?
Yes, it detects AX, it decodes the packets, it shows the information, the new guard intervals, the new channel which was really difficult to get, because I asked, I don't know, 50 Wi-Fi engineers, and not one single person could answer me the questions. I believe you know what kind of questions I ask. I asked two, I believe.
Yeah, the guard interval and all this stuff.
Because it's really difficult to find. You know, being a Wi-Fi engineer is one thing, and able to read the packets also. But putting everything together, every single information you have into the right context to display it on the application is a little bit different. You know, it's a little bit more difficult, I believe. But I had a lot of time, and I read the documentation twice or three times until I had everything.
So I actually, like today I did some Wi-Fi 6 packet captures, and I could actually find the information you were looking for, but not in the layer 2 frame, right? I could find it in the radio tab header.
I know that. I have seen it, and thank you for that. But I knew that already. But the goal is to make this possible with just with a beacon frame, and it is possible. It's difficult.
So how do you do it? Is it like a secret sauce?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
A lot of reading.
A little bit, yes.
So that's how you you display information such as the MCS, right?
Yes, also.
Because the MCS, you're not able to get it.
Wait, are you talking about the MCS rates or indexes?
The MCS rate, right?
Yes.
So which one is challenging? Which one did you have to like reverse engineer from the information you got from the beacon elements?
Well, MCS rates are pretty easy. If you just have the table, I have seen you have it on your webpage. It's quite easy to calculate it or to make a lookup table and to display the data. What is difficult on Windows, really difficult, maybe one of the most difficult things I have ever done in my life, in my developer life, is finding out the MCS index. To get this, you have to know on how many spatial streams your NIC is operating on, and that's quite difficult to find out. That's something I couldn't find out alone, and I had help from some Windows engineers. And yes, it works now for 80% of the time. There are some problems still, but it works, and it is possible under Windows. I believe many people don't think so, but it is possible.
So when you say it doesn't work, is it because you have like this, sometimes you have the same data rates in the MCS table, but they don't match the number of spatial streams, or they don't match the guard interval?
No, if I say 80%, I mean 80% of the available NICs for Windows.
Oh, so you have a database of the NIC and how many spatial streams they support?
No. I get this information from Windows.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because even if you know that, for example, my NIC has 2 spatial streams, it doesn't mean it uses 2 spatial streams, you know? So this is pretty helpless. You have to know on how many spatial streams it operates. And I don't know why yet. I think that's some chip and driver version combination. It doesn't work always.
Oh, okay.
I have, for example, one NIC here on my Surface Book, and it works always in the Surface Book. I have another tablet here or laptop, and for this one, it doesn't work at all. So I have to find out why. Before I don't know that, I cannot release this feature, because it have to work for every NIC on Windows, you know?
So did you find the same issue with AX?
About the MCS index?
Yeah.
No.
Or is it the same?
It's not related to the standard. It's just related to the driver and to the chipset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So some chipsets will give you the information, some chipsets will not, right?
Exactly. It's a chipset driver version combination.
Okay. And then from the data rate, you cannot really guess the MCS index if you don't have all the PCs, right?
No, you know it as well, because some of the data rates exist 2, 3, 4, or 5 or even more times. So you can't be really 100% sure. It might work for, I don't know, 50, 60% of the time, but you can never be sure if it's the correct MCS index, and that's not helpful at all.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a nice challenge, Wi-Fi challenge, I would say.
That's a really challenge, yeah. By the way, that's a Windows challenge, not a Wi-Fi challenge.
yeah, I guess. Oh my, okay. So, what did you have any other challenges you want to share related to some more digging you had to do?
Oh, let me think. Well, I have to learn a lot about standards, MCS stuff, data grid. I think no. Not really.
So how did you test? Like, how did you test the 11B access point?
I don't test this. I let my user test this.
Okay.
That's also a reason why I gave a free version with this amount of features. I have some laptops here, different devices and tablets, but I cannot test everything. I cannot buy every existing access point, a different vendor model, and all this stuff.
No, but you could use Linux, create beacon frames.
Yes, but that's not real, you know.
That's not real, but at least you can create an 11B access point, right?
Yeah, that's correct. But I have something very nice, because in the Windows Store I have a lot of telemetry data from the applications. You know, you can have everything you want in there: errors, mistakes. I can see where some crashes happen, what the people are using, and also I collect some data. So I get a lot of valuable data back, and I can see what happens exactly on the other computer. So this is not a big problem.
Okay. So you just let the users, do some testing, and then they come back to you if they see a bug or something.
Exactly.
Okay. Have you had like a lot of bugs, or it's been
pretty quiet? At the beginning, yes. When I released the first store version, I got a lot of complaints why WinFi isn't working, and I asked them if they have a Wi-Fi adapter in the system, and they said, no, I'm connected to my access point via cable. This is Wi-Fi, right? It has to work. I said, no, it doesn't work. And I had to make a window in case you don't have a Wi-Fi adapter, and have to explain to people now that this application needs a Wi-Fi adapter. That was the biggest problem at the beginning. But it's a process, you have to find out what the problems are, what people are complaining about, but I think I made a good job, and right now I don't get any bad feedback at the moment.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so if you do you have anything to ask the community?
Yes, feedback, ideas, suggestions, everything. What could be helpful to improve this product and to make it better.
And you have something that a feature that I guess we didn't talk about, but I really like is the fact that you can actually save your session and then go back and replay the session.
Yes, you have actually 3 different modes. You have an automatic mode, which just remembers everything you do, okay? Up to 14 days. So you can replay everything, you can jump to every point. And this is, of course, stored to the hard disk. But then you have also a manual mode where it doesn't record anything until you press the record button. And you have a mode where it records into the memory, into the RAM. That's helpful for devices with a low hard disk, with a slow hard disk, for example, or for any reason.
Okay.
So that's a pretty nice feature. You have a nice timeline where you can drag and drop to the point where you want, and it just replays everything.
That's cool. Yeah, I think most of the things I do in a Wi-Fi scanner application are already available in your tool. That when I use search applications, I like to filter out results, and you can already do that in your application. I like to take screenshots, but you can do that anywhere. I also like to be able to export the session. And then open it in Wireshark, and you can do that, right?
Yes, exactly. Actually, you don't have to export it at all. You can open it directly in Wireshark with some context menu. So you don't have to go to step to save it somewhere and send to open Wireshark. You can do this if you want, but you can open Wireshark directly from WinFi.
Okay, so I guess for me, if I were to give you some feedbacks on the features I would like to see, it's more whenever you get the packet capture implemented.
Yeah, everyone wants this.
Yeah, I would love to see the on top of the APs. I would like to see the clients, and then if you can just have like a client view. So when you click on the client, you have a different view, just focusing on that client. Maybe you could just, when you do that, you could do some context scanning. So only scan the channel used by the client, and then get more data from the client. So you could actually monitor a client connection while doing some troubleshooting. You could see retries, you could see data rates, throughput, and all of that.
Lost packets and everything. Yeah, that's a nice idea. That's very good. That's already on my to-do list. I don't know how many people requested this feature, this particular feature. I think that's number 2 on the list. Number 1 is packet capturing. Number 2 is this. What you said.
Because it's pretty nice. On macOS, I use an application called Debuki. Maybe you know it.
I heard about it, but I never used it, to be honest.
So it does it pretty well, and I use it sometimes when I want to do quick troubleshooting, because I can just monitor the clients. I don't have to do packet capture and then go back and do more analysis. So it's very useful. And I think it would match your target audience. And then after that, for the packet capture too, I don't know how it's going to work with AX. Right now, it's pretty difficult to do packet captures for AX. I got it working today on the, on the Jetson Nano from NVIDIA using the Intel AX chip.
I've seen your post today. Very interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so it works. I managed to do it in 2040 megahertz white channel so far. You could do it from an access point, but you need an AX access point, and I have one here. I have a Cisco one, but I wasn't able to make it work. So I think it's pretty challenging. Right now, obviously it's just the beginning, right? It's like bleeding edge. So I don't know if maybe you can try to look out for any USB Wi-Fi 6 adapters that will come out hopefully pretty soon.
What you just said? Wi-Fi 6 adapters, yeah. I think there might be a problem with the USB bandwidth if it's a USB adapter, because if you consider the high band rates AX offers, and if you want to capture also the data frames, this could be a problem. Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, I don't really know how it's gonna work out. Yeah, you're right. It could be a problem. I don't know the maximum speed of USB.
That's not a lot, but maybe they bring out a Thunderbolt adapter or USB Type-C adapter or something like that.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Okay, so I guess we'll see. But for the future of your application, that would be important if people want to also analyze Wi-Fi 6.
Yes, I know that's a must-have now. That's even if no one is using it already, you have to implement it, because if not, you lose.
So I think that's going to be one of your after you got the packet capture. Figure it out for AC. That's going to be your next big challenge, because it's challenging to work on bleeding edge technologies.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's not easy. But anyway, all right. So I think we covered pretty much everything. Do you want to add anything? Do you want to I don't know, direct people to maybe a website, a resource, or anything you have?
Well, everyone is welcome to download my application. You can find it on helge-keck.com. It's maybe difficult to spell. You can.
We'll put a link down the way. Yeah.
You can also check my Twitter feed. I tweet pretty much every day something about it, and everyone can download it. It's free. I'm happy to get some feedback from you and to help you to create a better product for yourself, for your work.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Helge, for being with me today, recording this episode. It's been a very nice discussion. I think you did a really, really good job with the application. I meet a lot of people using Windows, so I'll be sure to recommend the application for for these people. And then maybe one day, I don't know, maybe I'll have Windows 10. Who knows?
You never know. You never know.
All right. So we'll link in the show notes. We'll link your website. We'll link your Twitter account, which is pretty much your name, Helge Keck. And then you tweet in English, right? So
mostly, yeah. Sometimes in Spanish or German, but normally in English.
Oh, you speak Spanish too?
Yes, I'm European, so it's normal here. I grew up with different languages, so that's not a problem.
Okay, awesome. All right, so thank you very much for your time, and then good luck for the for the next version. Good luck on improving the tool.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to come back and talk about the pro version, once you have something, once you release it, I guess maybe we can organize something.
Oh, that's very nice. I have to thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Helge. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for listening. You can check out all the information in the show notes. We'll also include some screenshots I want to have while creating a clear to send theme of the application. You guys will find that in the show notes. And until next time, thank you for listening. We'll catch back next week. Bye-bye.